Here's why you need to stop dieting and actually eat to build your body. If you're a woman who has spent years dieting, trying to cut calories, eating less, and you have become bored and disengaged with the whole process, and you actually want a better solution, then stay with me. If you're new, I'm Rachel, an online coach helping women get fitter and stronger and build a body they're confident in, that they feel actually reflects the hard work they're putting in. Now here's a quick summary of how I've got here with my physique. 12 years ago, I did a transformation. I'd barely spent any time training. I followed a coach's program into a 10 kilo weight loss, lost my period, had no muscle mass, and yeah, I was small and lean, but that was it. And honestly, I was pretty fucked. I then spent a big chunk of time, once I'd regained my period and kind of re-established my health, I just spent the time focusing on strength, performance, what my body could do, and trying different things. And then I've spent the last few years building my strength, building my fitness, eating to support that and eating well, and ensuring I'm getting enough rest, recovery and sleep. And this is what's really changed the game for me in how I look, how I feel, and how I perform when I'm doing my training sessions. So I can tell you now, what you eat is where it's at, and how much you eat. Not dieting, not focusing on trying to lose weight constantly, but actually eating enough and eating quality ingredients, giving your body what it needs, giving it enough of what it needs, so you stay full, satisfied, and can perform well day to day and in your training. Most women go wrong here because they are used to the yo-yo of dieting. They're used to restriction, they're used to cutting things out, they're used to good and bad. They're used to being on track and off track, and oh, I can't eat that and I shouldn't have that. Food becomes all about calories, making things fit. The less, the better. But then because that feels restrictive, there's a huge swing in approach. This is where the all or nothing comes from. Either on track, off track, low calorie days, and then massively overeating because it's just not realistic. Confusion around eating carbohydrates. Should I, shouldn't I? What about training? Good carbs, bad carbs. You know what I'm talking about. I had all this noise in my head, 12 years ago. I had pretty disordered eating as a result of that process, because of what I thought it took to get in shape. And yes, that's what it took, that body at that time, because I hadn't built a solid foundation. And this is what I want to talk about now. This is the fix. And if you want a quick fix, turn off now, because you can't do this as a quick fix. But if quick fixes worked, you wouldn't keep looking for the next one. And this is going to be really boring as well. And if you don't want boring, see you later. But because this is what works. You need to build consistency first. And what I mean by that is stop eating chaotically. Stop trying to restrict and then get to the end of the week, massively overeat. Stop idolizing food and also stop demonizing food. Stop having such rigid thoughts and beliefs around food. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's why it takes practice. It takes building that consistency with food. Aim to eat 3 to 4 meals a day that are filling, satisfying, that don't leave you thinking about your next meal or when your next snack is. Keep them simple and repeatable. 3 to 5 options that you rotate between for breakfast, for lunch, for your evening meal. Build that consistency in. Focus on quality protein in there, plenty of fibre, carbohydrates and fats. Build a plate that looks like that and get used to eating consistently in that way 3 to 4 times a day, with a snack or two if needed. Drink enough water. I know you're probably sick of hearing it because it's true. If you are dehydrated, it will skew your hunger signaling. Let alone everything else dehydration is not good for. Really just simplify your food, not from a calorie perspective, from a making it as easy as possible for you to just create consistency and repeatability in your meals day to day, week to week. Once you do that and you are in a rhythm of eating the same sort of things and you know what works for you, you know what makes you feel good, you're establishing the baseline there, the foundation. This is what you need. You need to eat enough. So we don't want you to actually be looking at dropping any significant weight in this time. It's not about weight loss. It's a foundation. The more food you can eat without gaining unnecessary body fat is an absolute win. And that is what you should be striving for, not the next diet. It's how much can I eat where I'm full, satisfied, and not gaining unnecessary body fat. What you do at the same time, whilst you are building that consistency with food, is you build the consistency with your training. Because I tell you now, training when you are well fed and fueled is completely different to training when you are in a calorie deficit. When you are constantly hungry, constantly thinking about food, do not have the energy, do not have the carbohydrates, it's entirely different. So utilize this time to really hone in your training. Train hard. Follow a program that is pushing you and you are pushing yourself to improve, to build strength, to lift heavier, to work harder at higher intensities, because your body will be able to manage it because you are feeding it appropriately. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you that foundation, that baseline of where you are. And in this time, you may see significant changes with your physique anyway, without thinking about the scales, without thinking about calorie deficits. Just by improving the consistency and quality of the food you're eating and not overeating, but also training properly as well. And you know what? If you continue to do that year on year, your body is going to still look good and improve. But if you do that, and I don't want to give specific time frames, but it's not a do that for 3 weeks. You should do that consistently, build that routine. It could be 8 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks. You could do half a year long of that, depending on your starting point and really where you're wanting to go and what you're doing. This is what I look at with the women that I'm working with, depending on what their overall goal is, where they're wanting to do, are they wanting to do any events, have they got things coming up, and we structure it around that. But you can spend as long as you want building that foundation, because it'll go from building a foundation to start building the house. When you've then got that, you can then look from that foundation. Again, it's not always necessarily that then you need to take things away and you need to reduce calories. You might actually be in a place where you want to build more and you can gradually increase your calories a little bit without gaining too much weight, but actually building some muscle, building strength, building performance and output. And then you got the luxury of, if you want to do a small fat loss phase, you're doing it from a solid place. You know your numbers, you're eating well, things are balanced, your hormones feel good, you don't feel like a sack of shit, and it's a lot easier to stick to. Far too often women are jumping into dieting phases from a fucking absolute wobble. And you might be able to do it for a couple of weeks. 4 weeks, 6 weeks, even at a push, you might be able to white knuckle it all the way through like a 12-week thing. But then what happens? Whereas imagine if you can actually be feeling good with the food you're eating, fueling yourself consistently, training hard, working towards something, and then if you do decide, I just want to, I'm going on holiday in 2 months, I might just tighten things up. You can create a really small deficit from those numbers, get the outcome you want without having to put yourself in an absolute hole. This is what I am creating in FSF, and I want more women who are sick of dieting, who actually want to feel good, want to perform well, want to improve their strength and their fitness, and work towards doing races or events. And yeah, they want to look good, but they don't want to look good by sacrificing everything else. If that's you, drop FSF below or send me a message on Instagram. Would love to chat with you. I'll see you in the next video.